And here we have nervous tissue. This now contains only two types of cells. First are going to be neurons, and the second are glial cells. Neurons are going to be nerve cells that are capable of initiating and conducting electrical activity through the body. And so here is our example of a neuron. Glial cells now, though, are going to be more in number, and these are going to be the cells that support and protect neurons. So their definition is that it literally means neuron nourishing for glial. The function of these is to communicate and control the movement of body functions for our nervous tissue, and so we find this within the brain, the spinal cord, and then also cranial nerves as well as spinal nerves. Now, difference too is that glial cells are going to lack these processes, which are these axons. I'm going to talk more about this when we get to the nervous system, but that's one way to know that you can differentiate between the two. All right, so some of the problems or pathologies that we can come across as tissues are either exposed to damage or subject to tumors and cancers, or just with normal aging, can vary in their form, in their size, or even number. So let's look at metaplasia. And so with metaplasia, what we have here in this top example is that like an epithelial lining from the respiratory tract of people who smoke change from a pseudostratified ciliated epithelia to a stratified squamous epithelia. So if you imagine, then these individuals have a hard time then moving mucus and gunk along, and so a lot of the responses then for the body is to cough, because they need that help to with the muscle contraction with coughing to get rid of the extra gunk that normally their cilia would take care of. All right, so cell hypertrophy, this is an increase in size of the cell, and we see this a lot with growth and development, but also as we continue to age, doing weight-bearing exercises helps to, for example, increase the cell size of the muscle. Hyperplasia now is going to be an increase in cell number, and so we see this again a lot with growth and development. Very uncommon in terms of when we continue to age. However, some different types of exercises also can elicit hyperplasia for our skeletal muscle. Neoplasia, this is out of control growth, and then usually is in the result of a tumor, sometimes benign, sometimes malignant, depending on the severity and also what tissue it has affected. And then lastly, atrophy. This is going to be shrinkage of muscle tissue. Typically, we associate with muscle tissue. And so here's an example of skeletal muscle of the arm. So you can see nice fat belly, and then over time, as we age, if we kind of use it, if you don't use it, you lose it principle. And so we get shrinking of this muscle.